And now we are going to have two important sessions. One is going to be on CBT, that is cognitive behavior therapy of obesity, and that's how we tend to treat our patients in our mind body medicine clinic. So we have Dr. Manik Dande. Can I have a CV slide, please? So Dr. Manik Dande has been a very good addition to us since last year, and she has been helping a lot of our patients in psychologist as a psychologist, but as a part of this treatment of this NCD. She basically at our mind body center we have 5 consultants. We have a psychologist, we have a nutritionist, we have a physiotherapist, we have a yoga therapist, and we have a mind body medicine specialist. So all these deal with different aspects of wellness, and this is in short a wellness center that is open to all category of patients, and all doctors from all over the country can refer their patients. The aim is to teach them. The aim is there is no doctor there. There are all these consultants who are so-called wellness consultants, and they would guide a person to how you could lead a healthy lifestyle and a healthy mental style, both ways. So Dr. Manik Dande, she is a cognitive behavior therapist, and she has a diploma international in it. She has actually been a part of the Maharashtra Institute of Mental Health as a psychiatric social worker. She is working in association with various psychiatrists, neurologic clinics, and infertility center in Pune, and visiting clinical psychologists for past more than 20 years. She's had a vast experience in counseling, and she also visits Larsen and Toubro once in a month. And with our clinic, she's been working since 2026. She has an expertise in clinical assessment of psychological disorders and assessment of marital problems, couple therapy, and CBT for anxiety, depression, phobias, relationship issues, stress management, chronic pains, and now she's actually working very hard to help with our obesity patients. So she's going to tell her experiences also, and she's going to tell us what she actually does in our clinic for obese patients. So over to you, ma'am.
She gave me an opportunity to work with that, so I really heartfully want to thank her. Second is I want to also thank her for especially the Synapse team to give me an opportunity to present some data that we have collected in the last 4 months. We've been working with different kind of patients, and one of the patients also, a data from one of the patients I will present. Okay. So to begin with, my presentation today will involve a couple of things. One is the CBT, the cognitive behavior therapist. I am practicing as a cognitive behavior therapist, which normally takes care of the psychiatric disorders or the people having or the patients having different kind of psychological disorders. You've been hearing last 3 days, 3 days of different disorders. Doctors have been talking, especially with respect to eating disorders, obesity, weights, and everything. So my topic will, first of all, I'll give you a brief review of what CBT is briefly, so that the people who are not conversant with that will have a little information about what we do as a CBT therapist. Second part will be CBT OB. That is the recent thing we have started, is the kind of application of cognitive behavior therapy we are doing in the person suffering from obesity. Okay. And third, I will give you a small data or some data about with I have a data of 5 sessions of a patient, how we started and where are we right now. Of course, there's a lot to go with that patient, but we have just started. To give you an overview of what at least now by now in last 4 days everybody we have heard as what cognitive behavior therapy. It is one of the therapy which is practiced globally along with the psychiatric medicines. Okay, it is practiced as an adjuvant or a supportive work. Now cognitive behavior therapy is the cognitions. Now these psychiatric disorders or the psychological disorders have a specific thinking or a thought process behind that disorder. Suppose we say it is anxiety disorder, then there is a specific thinking process or a thinking pattern behind that disorder. Okay, for example, a patient has a panic, then he has a specific thought related to panic. If I do this particular thing, I may get heart attack, or if I do this, it is dangerous to me. Something of those kind of thoughts are key thoughts, or they are called as automatic thoughts, which we have to address, or I address through the cognitive behavior therapy. So this therapy is a very structured approach. It has a tripartite model. One is that there is a specific thought with respect to that particular disorder. Whatever disorders are treatable with CBT, there is a specific thought disorder, or there are specific thought with respect to that disorder, that I have to train my patient to identify those and then challenge them and then modify. Only then those symptoms are going to reduce and the patient will not have a relapse. So CBT is entirely like the physiotherapist. He is going to train the patient. Similarly, I, as a therapist, a cognitive behavior therapist, is going to train the patient to identify these specific thoughts that are maintaining that particular illness. Say, for example, depression, for example, social anxiety disorder, example, panic disorders. I have to train the patient to identify those thoughts based on the different situations, what he's bringing to me. And once he has identified those thoughts, how to challenge them is the key thing. There are some specific techniques, something called as Socratic questioning. Deeper, if you go into CBT, we train the patient to identify, challenge, and modify those thoughts. Unless we modify those thoughts, the patient is not going to get benefit, or they may be relapse again and again. Okay? So this is about the CBT for psychiatric disorders. We have different questionnaires for that. You may have all seen the questionnaires like BDI, BAI. Okay, so based on that, one can identify what the patient is having, which illness he is having, the specific thoughts he is having, training the patient to identify those thoughts and challenge and modify those thoughts. So the other second part, as I am going to now discuss, is we are interested today in is the CBT OB. So cognitive behavior therapy for the person suffering from obesity is the key topic today. So over here, again, I have to be a cognitive behavior therapist to practice that. Of course, I know I have to have good counseling skills. Secondly, I also have to have some information about that disorder. Now, because by now we know that obesity is a chronic medical disease. Earlier it used to be different. Even I'm training myself to see it as a disorder, a chronic medical condition, once I came to this clinic. So over here, I am again, as a CBT therapist, even I have to see this obesity as a clinical condition and then train my patient to transform himself from where he is to where we want to go, or where he want to go. From illness to wellness, okay, with the help of the CBT OB protocol, which I am going to discuss in a short while. Now at the center, how the center works with us, or how our center works is, you saw the slide which we had put up earlier. Now the patient, any patient coming for his obesity issues, the endocrinologist, Dr. Vaishali Deshmukh, would assess him and give him some prescriptions. She has worked with the patient, all the parameters, medical parameters. Unlike other centers out there in Pune, over here we have this center which is clinically supervised and managed by doctor and a team. Once the patient is here, she has worked with him, she has given him some prescription for maybe his anxieties also, maybe his obesity related issues also. And then she has a very good clinical acumen. Thereafter, she decides that which is the next kind of therapy the patient is going to require, and based on that, she would either refer the patient to, if the patient has some psychological issues or some issues to be dealt by me as a psychologist, she would refer the patient to me. The patient could be referred to a dietitian, the patient could be referred to a Dr. Fatke, who is a physiologist, the patient could be referred to a physiotherapist. So based on what the patient next needs, Once the patient has been stabilized with medication, her medication and her treatment, what the patient needs next to adhere to the program. Adherence is very important because initially there is some weight loss and then the patient may have again a relapse. So this is what we do together to help the patient to maintain the weight loss or further continue with the weight loss if it is agreed upon by the doctor and the patient and his clinical condition is okay. And thereafter comes our job to help him to adhere to the patient to maintain the lost weight. Okay. So so we all have 6 sessions work. All of us are given 6 sessions in to initially to kind of orient the patient to the modules which we have. So all of us have 6 sessions. So in the 6 sessions, what I do, I will just now relate to you, tell you. So now I'm following a protocol, the cognitive behavioral therapy OB protocol, which is a very personalized module, personalized program or a protocol, in which there are 6 sessions. There are actually 6 modules. I have converted them into 6 sessions. So I will give the patient a brief overview of every module. So can people see this? Otherwise, I will just say it over here. Is this legible over there? Because these are just photos and I did not have much time to actually convert them into, see if I can zoom it. Okay, so this is about the preparatory phase. I'm doing this 6 modules over 6 sessions. What we are being given in the center, and the module 1 is about monitoring food intake, physical activity, and body weight. Huh. This is module 1, monitoring food intake, physical activity, and body weight. So as I was saying, when the patient comes to me, I have to have data from where he is today. What has he been doing up till now? So with respect to all 3 topics, I have to have this body food intake, kai challai, that's a physical activity, what he is right now at, and the body weight right now he is. Okay. The second module will be about the changing eating. This is the most core work where since the last 3-4 days we are talking about the calories and things like that, what we eat, what we don't eat. So right now the patient has certain of his patterns or his way of managing his food. So we have to first know what he's eating right now. Unless we know what he's eating, we cannot do anything with respect to that. The third is developing an active lifestyle. Now, this is what we want the patient to do. Whereas right now the patient has some of his lifestyle which is comforted, he's adapted, and here we want to do some change over here. Then the module 4 is about addressing obstacles to weight loss. Over here comes a lot of cognitive work where the patient has had many episodes, maybe abortive episodes of losing weight and gaining it back in no span of time. So here it is all the work, the cognitive work, the work with his cognitions with respect to the weight lost and weight regained, all the things which he had done, which he has done earlier, we have to start addressing this too for weight loss. Then there is a module 5, addressing weight loss dissatisfaction. Now there are many times after a point the patient is going to feel that अरे इतना नहीं हो रहा है या इतना ही हुआ है इससे ज़्यादा चाहिए, I want more weight loss, and we have to address this weight loss dissatisfaction. Okay. And module 6 is about addressing obstacles to weight maintenance. So since this is a long-term program, like since last 3-4 days we are saying that we have to manage it like any other chronic illness like diabetes and other illnesses. Similarly, obesity has to be also seen in that from that point of view. So these 3 modules are the ones for the weight lost and adhere to maintaining that weight lost. Okay, and the first 3 modules are for the weight loss, actual weight loss. Okay, now over here, the CBT-OB, the goal of CBT-OB is develop a weight control mindset. So weight loss and maintaining what they have lost is called as weight control mindset. Okay, so this entire program is about weight control mindset. What it involves is changing or identifying what they are doing right now versus challenging those things, maybe their eating patterns or maybe their lifestyles, and putting a more functional kind of or a new way of eating, new habits of living their life, and learning new strategies, new skills, which they will continue forever. Okay, something of that kind. So we go to the next part, the second one. So what I have to say over here specifically is, as I said earlier, ki we have to start from where the patient is. Now, persons with weight, today only I changed this definition. I'm no more going to call it as a patient. So, person having weight problem, he has been, so I have few patients who have been having this problem for quite some time. They have started there since adolescence and at that time, so they are now, they have given up kind of, they don't see any possibility of ki bahut kuch zyada ho payega, yeah, they are like it is, it's a pie in the sky for them. So they are into it, they come in that mindset to us ki काही होणार आहे का किंवा किती होणार आहे, इट्स नॉट हॅपनिंग, समथिंग ऑफ दॅट. अँड मोस्टली द पेरेंट्स हू अकंपनी or the family members who accompany, it's mostly a problem for them. How much of you would agree with this? So patient is carrying, anyway he is carrying his weight, but the family members are so eager की आता ह्याचं लग्न करायचं आहे, कधी लवकर ह्याचं वजन कमी करून द्या वगैरे. Okay, so as I told you, or we are where the start where the patient is and gradually build up. Okay, now we go to the second topic. So once the patient has come from the endocrinology clinic to us, where all his medical parameters have been assessed, some prescriptions also have been given to him. This is where my assessment will start. Now, before this assessment starts, this is a specific CBT OB assessment. Whereas I have to also do an assessment with respect to whether a patient is being suffering from any depressive kind of entity, any anxiety-related issues. So by and by, I will do that clinically, because these are just 6 sessions we have been given to that. We don't dwell into too much into these modules. On a surface, I will assess that clinically person is not so depressed that he will be not able to follow the program, or he does not have so much anxiety that he will not be able to deal with the program, whatever I'm offering. Okay, so that I do quickly. I do not give any questionnaires. There are questionnaires like brief psychiatric rating questionnaires, NED questionnaire, BED questionnaires. But right now, during these 6 sessions, I'm not giving any questionnaires. It's just to orient them to the different modules, start getting into a mindset or a habit of collecting some data, following certain instructions, doing some homework, and seeing the results. Okay, engaging the patient, enrolling the patient for the weight control mindset. So these are the basic parameters one can go ahead. The weight histories are very important because we see often many of my patients now, even doctors' patients they have started their weight gain before their puberty or before 20 years. Okay, they've been living with that slow. Then the minimum and maximum weight, what they have lost, what they have gained, then age, weight change in the last year. Most important is that what if there are many doctors have spoken if the change was acute or whether it has been there for long standing, does matter a lot in our treatment issues also. Then the events associated. So one of my patient told me the other day that mamacha gari jeva jaychi, she used to go to her maternal uncle's place where they used to have lot of food and they used to have lot of mangoes there. That is the time she used to every year gain a weight, and when she came back, she never lost it. And every year she kept on gaining the weight. That's how there are specific events in our in our lifespan where we are likely to gain weight. Then pregnancies are one. One of the patients said that during pregnancy she has gained a lot of weight, and thereafter she has not been able to share the weight. So then we have this previous treatments for obesity. Then we have so many of my patients or the patients coming here have done multiple attempts by going to different gyms, following different diets, and they have lost. And in no time span of say 2 months, they have gained back the lost weight. One of my patients lost about 9 kgs in 2 months, and then soon after he left that gym or the regimen what he was following, gained back his weight. So they are generally very dissatisfied with any intervention that is done for they have done for their weight loss. Of course, many times patients go to different centers for the sake of the family, which is actually forcing them to go and get something done for his current weight situation. So duration of the weight loss, possible reasons for weight regain. So there are some reasons why they have had their weight regain. Okay, number of cycles. So my patient has as many as 6 cycles. The patient I'm going to present, he has had 6 cycles of losing weight, and so these are called as abortive attempts. When they go, they lose weight, they lose interest, and they once again have the same relapse. Now the current state is very important, out of which all these measures are taken in our clinic. We have some records over here with respect to our patients. Then generally, as I told you, the eating behaviors are monitored, binge eating. I will only keep a note of whether my patient is eating in the night. ओके, इनिशियली आय विल नॉट स्टार्ट की तू रात्री खाऊ नकोस, तू लवकर झोप, हे मी आत्ता सुरुवातीला काही करणार नाही आहे, बिकॉज हाय रेट दॅट पेशंट विल जस्ट ड्रॉप आउट. Okay, right now I have to just have a check in the six sessions that these are the things I have to address when the patient actually has enrolled or has made a priority in his life that he is going to follow till the program continues. Okay, then the extreme weight controls. We often see that, especially in bulimia nervosa and anorexia, the girls can have these episodes. You may have heard of this, the vomiting karun kadun takte. Have you ever heard this case or seen it in case? Okay. Then of course alcohol and other things, and body. Many times the last part, the body checking and body avoidance. Body checking and body avoidance, these both are they can be seen as a some psychiatric connection in that. So body checking, some patients do not like to weigh themselves, versus some patients will continuously every day also they can monitor their weight twice or thrice. Have I lost a weight, kitna bada kitna chota. So there could be some obsessive patterns with respect to this body checking and body avoidance. So we've had patients who continuously used to monitor their weight, and then thereafter इतनी anxiety उसकी बढ़ गई थी कि वो कुछ दिखना नहीं था. We could not figure out क्या हो रहा है, why is she so stressed about having this particular. Okay, so now, yeah, many patients are very well motivated. Now we have a questionnaire over here that what motivates a person to lose weight or not to lose weight. Of course, I'll talk about it a little later. So for women, of course, body shape is very important. To be able to wear the same new clothes, fashion clothes, the earlier clothes which she was fond of, are very great motivators or predictors for whether a patient is going to continue with the program or not. Then, yeah, the current patient which has been referred to me is pre-diabetic, and he has certain parameters which are at the age of 26 have got quite disturbed. So that is his worry that he may land up into some medical complications. That is one of the reasons he has started coming to the center. Then the social functioning is affected. He does not go to any social function because of fear of overeating there, or people. So a social anxiety disorder also sets in. He starts avoiding people. He doesn't like to go to the different places where he's likely to be. First question, like Madam other day said, कि who I think the nutritionist said कि यहाँ पे हमारे यहाँ पे ऐसा होता है कि पहला तुझा वजन खूप कमी झालं किंवा तुझं वजन खूप वाढलंय. That is a way of a greeting in our culture which really affects our patients a lot. This is a very interesting topic. So the dream weight, there is something called as dream weight, desirable weight, and maximum acceptable weight. काय difference असेल? What do you feel? Why are these 3 terms coined over here? I'll give you an example with respect to my patient only. Anything, any idea? Dream weight. So right now my patient has a weight of 145 kgs. Okay. His dream weight is he want to come less than 100. Okay. His desirable weight is 100. Dream weight is less than 100, desirable weight is 100. Whereas my program is going to give him in a span of 6 months or 24 weeks, a 24 kgs of weight loss. 0.5 kg to 1 kg per week is the protocol, my book says. So 4 kgs per month. So 6 for the 24 kgs. So 145 minus 124, that is his acceptable. He will have to accept this weight. He will have to accept this weight after 6 months. Thereafter, I will start the weight maintenance program. So he says, "Nahi, madam, मैं जास्ती वजन कमी करतो आता." Okay, let's see. And of course, it has to be under the supervision of the doctor, whatever regime she has given him, the food, the medicines, Okay, the only part with me is addressing his cognitions and the activity. So only two components I have with me to work upon. And the as I told you, reasons for wanting to, of course, these are mostly with all patients. And I have had a couple where there was a lot of interpersonal. Recently, also I had one patient referred from a infertility clinic, as the women is very obese, and she hasn't been referred to the our clinic. She has because she's not able to conceive, and the man says that unless she loses weight, I don't feel attracted to her. I don't have any desire for her. Okay, so these are certain issues which we otherwise also see across clinics. Then these are the personal barriers to weight loss, as you can go through. And we also have to have certain, many times you can see that patients have had certain depressive episodes earlier. That is the time they went on to different medications, and that is the time they have put on a lot of weight. So the illness may continue right now, but the patient has stopped medicine, but she's still on the heavier side. Did we finish? So, okay. So we now go ahead to the next topic. Uh, Now, in any CBT program or any CBT for any psychiatric disorder, it be for obesity. There's next slide. Next slide. Uh, Next slide. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. So excuse me for this. I've got these photos, and I did not have time to convert it into slides. Wait. Come down. Yeah. So now that I have also started seeing obesity as a chronic medical condition like diabetes, when I joined this clinic, that is where the first transformation I had to do in my way of looking at obesity, that it needs to be treated like any other illness, a long-standing illness. And so you can see here the moderate weight loss would be 5 to 10%. Okay. Certain things you can read for yourself. I can give you these handouts if you want. They are there on the folder. You can copy them. Yeah. Now, most important, um, this is a program. This is a program of about 24 weeks is the first phase. Every week is a session. Right now, we are giving just 6 sessions modules, but actually the program is once I'm also quite confident, and our team and our doctor is also confident that I can deliver it for the way it is. So it is the first thing is a 24 weeks program आहे त्याच्यामध्ये it's 0.5 to 1 kg weight loss with the modules, the different first 3 modules, modifying their changing eating patterns, the sedentary lifestyles, and the what he expects from the treatment. Okay, so 6 months is the first, and the second is 48 weeks. So it is a total of 1.5 year program. Okay, wherein the first 6 months are for weight loss, and then the later 48 weeks are adhering to the lost weight, maintaining that weight lost. Okay, so this is the entire protocol that I'm following right now. See, the initial session assessment sessions are like 90 minutes or something like that. Thereafter, the sessions are 45 to 50 minutes once a week. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So we are most on weight control mindset. Okay. We will be working on the weight control mindsets. Go ahead. Anyone interested? I can give you the entire topic, the folder. Go ahead. Yeah. The $1,000,000 question. $1,000,000 question. To be or not to be? Weight loss करायचं आहे का नाही करायचं आहे? So over here, this is the questionnaire I start with when we have the patient. So the first is that how motivated I am to lose the weight. If it is, they are 10 on 10 over there. The first question, the answer is 10 on 10. Yes, I am. I want to lose weight for XYZ reasons. The second question is that how motivated I am to change my eating habits. There they take a halt or a pause. And with great difficulty, I asked them, kiti, thoda sa rate tar kara na. Why don't you rate yourself? Then he would rate it like 4, 5, thoda azun. करता करता कसं बसं 5-6पर्यंत आमचं येतं, त्याच्यापेक्षा पुढे काही ते जात नाही. सो दॅट इज द गॅप आय कॅन सी द मोटिवेशन द पेशंट हॅज टुवर्ड्स changing eating patterns. That is the gap. Now here lies my work. The cognitive work will start from here maybe to here. एवढा मोठा प्रवास करायचा आहे. Okay. Then the next is how motivated I am to exercise. Yeah, they have been doing some exercise for themselves. It's not that every person over here, sitting here also and outside out there, everybody now these days is very, very, prone to exercise. They will do some or the other kind of exercise. पण तरी पण जेव्हा हा प्रश्न विचारला तर it's again like 3, 4, 5, not more than that. Okay, that's where my patient is, and I have to be over there as a therapist. And then how motivated I am to consider the program as priority. Unless the patient has taken it as a priority, I do not wish to start the program, because unless it is a priority, no use me working on it. Unlike when I do CBT work with my other patients, the psychiatric disorders patients, there is a priority, because of that disorder something is at halt or they are paying some cost of it. For example, they are suffering from depression or they are suffering from panic disorders. तो कुछ तो भी रुका हुआ है या कहीं पर तो भी they are not able to function fully, and that is where they need to, that becomes a priority. Okay, बोलो. No, I will start with that na. Why doesn't see, so in that case the patient may have been referred by whom then? No, if one of the areas may be zero motivated, it is okay, I'll leave that area like that untouched. So what is saying that changing मला आता काही changing eating patterns मला आता सांगू नका, ठीक आहे, it's okay. So then it will be like the other factors he will have to compensate na. How much do I agree with the goals of the program? They very much agree with this programs. In fact, most of my patients like this program so much because it is very structured, and they feel a kind of अरे हे मला पण करता येईल किंवा हे मी करू शकेन, हे मला करता येईल किंवा मला हे करायचं आहे. That is how they look at the program. So the total score divided by 6 will be the basic score when I begin with the patient. And then every week, every month, maybe not every week, I will review the score. After every month, we will check upon the score, whether it is increasing, it is same, or it is decreasing. Go ahead, next. So this was the questionnaire to lose weight or not to lose weight. Yeah, go ahead. Significant others is kind of mostly we involve parents, father, mother, so that because in our homes, in Indian homes, it is like the cooking cannot be a solitary activity, at least where the kitchen still exists. The mother who decides the food, and our patients are mostly ones who may eat the food, not eat the food, and have the food of their choice. So we have to be careful with respect to that. Now, this is one of when we start with changing eating patterns. So what the patient right now is consuming, this is a sample. I have the sample of my case also. I'll give you data of my case also in the next slide. But this is monitoring food intake, physical activity, and body weight. Okay, the first module. Now over here, unlike the earlier traditional module, suppose if I ask you that in last 24 hours, just jot down at the night at 9 o'clock what all you eat. Will you be able to remember? Tell me how many of you can remember. काल सकाळपासून काल संध्याकाळपर्यंत काय काय खाल्लं? अवघड आहे ना? का जमेल? किती लोकांना वाटतं जमून जाईल? मी बसेन तर मला अगदी सांगता येईल की किती वाजता मी काय खाल्लं, किती खाल्लं? Portion, okay, portion, amount, when, anyways. So the earlier models were traditional way of recording food, whatever intake you did, versus CBT-OB says it is real-time monitoring. In cognitive therapy, everything has to be put, any situation has to be put under the microscope, magnified it, and see what, when, where, what, how. हे 4 प्रश्नांची उत्तरं आपल्याला पेशंट देऊ शकतो. ओके, सो व्हॉट हॅपन, वेअर वर यू, वेअर डिड यू ईट द फूड, हाऊ मच डिड यू ईट द फूड, व्हॉट टाईम, ओके, व्हॉट टाईम ऑफ द डे. सो द फर्स्ट column is about the time. Okay, so how many times he has had the food and actually writing. So real-time monitoring, this is a newer way of monitoring what you have eaten. Now, yes, since if I ask you in the morning, 9 o'clock what you ate, maybe you'll be able to tell me, कि 9 वाजता मी breakfast केला. And then what you ate. Okay, so real-time monitoring gives you a more clear data about the practices that patient already has, and then what food he consumed. Then calories तर GPT लगेच देतो आता. You in fact you all also can monitor के काल काय खाल्लंय त्याला chat GPT ला त्याला टाकलं की he will give you like today sir said the NIN ways of हो ना NIN ना madam NIN standards of he will quickly tell you how much calories you have taken in, and especially the comments. These comments are very important, or they are the thoughts or the cognitions which I am going to work with the patients. Okay, so let's go ahead. Was this okay? So this is the comment over here. What my patient is telling me. They were on my table and I could not resist. So gradually I will help or start with my patient that he start to look at what made him to eat that, or what made him to not resist that, or what made him to do a particular thing versus not do a particular thing. Go ahead. Okay. Wait. And then there is something called as energy expenditure also. There is energy input and energy expenditure, a balance of that. There is a particular formula given in this which the patients will monitor on their own. Okay, that gives them a good sense of a confidence about कि यार अच्छा चल रहा है मेरा. As this figure starts to reduce, or with my patient it has happened. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'll not go into this because हे dietitians वगैरे जास्ती काम आहे. मला फक्त त्यातले thoughts बघायचे असतात. Next. Okay. Now, wait there. Now, in any CBT, as I've been also telling you side by side what CBT involves, in a psychiatric disorders, we call it a CBT formulation for that particular disorder. Okay. Suppose a patient has some problem with some situation, like facing an exam or facing a senior. Okay. So that is a situation the patient is finding difficult to handle. And then there is also certain underlying beliefs for that. In a psychiatric disorder, we address these two levels of these two levels. Okay. So over here again in eating disorders, this is the basic formulation which I am going to address. Okay. So the data the patient has now brought to me. Okay, the real-time data, the real-time monitoring what he has brought to me now that is on my table, is we will try to find out that what is the pattern he has been following with respect to his eating. Okay, so it is called an antecedent stimuli. Anything has an antecedent stimuli. Like Kasaki, there are two types of stimuli. One is eating stimuli and one is non-eating stimuli. What could be eating stimuli? Like you see something on the table and you eat it, that is the eating stimuli. Or you see a vada pav stall and you feel like eating. But something called as non-eating stimuli. थोडं वरती जाल तर ते दिसेल. थोडंसं वरती. दर्शन. नाही. बरोबर. हे वर जायचं. Yeah. Something called as non-eating stimuli. Boredom, anxiety, stress eating, emotional eating, all we have been discussing for last 4 days comes into the non-eating stimuli. And this is very difficult to calculate. Okay, the patient just doesn't know that he ate. Like many women, they said that they eat as a way to reduce their anxiety that's happening at home many times, or between the relationship issues. थोडंसं वरती. Okay. Now we have these stimuli, the eating stimuli, and automatically this happens. So as a result of this stimuli, there is a automatic or a quick behavioral response. The patient is sitting on the patient came at home after a long day work. He had a lot of stress. So he goes to the kitchen, or he just sees a pack of chips maybe, and he snacks. Okay, he's on the couch, the TV is on, and he quickly goes to snack it. Okay, this is very automatic. And then there is a positive consequence. You just feel good. You feel your stress is reduced, your anxiety has gone. Okay, so these things are very highly connected. Now, because you got a positive reward, this is very likely next time is going to do this. It's very difficult to break this cycle. this flow. Now, in cognitive behavior therapy, now we know that this actually works. हा वाला खाली आणणार. So entire culprit is this. Okay? The entire culprit is this, which as a cognitive behavior therapist, I have to train the patient to first identify them, challenge them, and later modify them. Unless I modify them, ये जो हा वाला है ना, हा थांबणार नाही. Okay? But this practice, identifying thoughts, is a skill. After in any situation, what came to my mind, suppose the patient says, I was very tired, I was very bored, there is a lot of stress. So how much was the stress? Suppose he says 100%. Okay, 100% is the stress. What did you do? He will say that I had a bath, I was talking to a friend, but the stress did not come down. I was just feeling very stressed and very jittery. And then suddenly he does this and the stress goes down. Suppose it is now 60, 70, he just doesn't feel the stress. बिकॉज देर वॉज अ कनेक्शन कि मेरा स्ट्रेस कम नहीं हो रहा है, कम नहीं हो रहा है, मैंने बात भी किया, किसी से बात भी किया, बट कम नहीं हो रहा है. एंड देन द बॉडी इज़ काइंड ऑफ फाइंडिंग आउट, द ब्रेन इज़ फाइंडिंग आउट कैसा मैं इमीडिएटली कैसा स्ट्रेस रिलीव करूँ. And then the idea comes to him, the pop-up comes to him in his mind like an automatic thought. These come without any reasoning, without any deliberation. They just pop up. They pop up. Depending upon the mood state, they will pop up, and that pop-up will lead to the particular action. Okay? And as a result, there is a reward, and that's likely to continue. So this is where I'm going to work with the patient. But unless patient gives me data, I train him to develop that skill to get that data. I'm helpless. Okay? Next. Is this okay? Is everybody with me? Yeah, thank you. So now we go next. Next. You go ahead. Yeah, so as I was saying, this is the problem with thoughts is the one thing that is where I have to enroll or I have to seek collaboration or have a cooperation from my patient to help me gather those thoughts so that I can work upon those thoughts and modify them. Go ahead. So these are automatics. Like whenever a patient sits to eat, the food isn't very fascinating. I can eat little. Like somebody just now saying, sir was saying की मी वडापाव पाहिला की मी त्यातला फक्त एकच तुकडा खातो. So that's called as cheat diet. We call it cheat diet, but yeah, you can definitely that's a better way of instead of eating the entire one bulk of thing, you can eat a small piece. So you have satiety पण झाली आहे, pleasure, hedonic pleasure पण मिळाला आहे. आणि तुमचा वेट पण ठीक राहिलं आहे. ओके, गो अहेड. सो दीज आर सर्टन थॉट्स विच वी ट्रेन द पेशंट टू एलिसिट फ्रॉम द डिफरंट सिच्युएशन्स. गो अहेड. या, गो अहेड. Go ahead. Yeah. Now we can see this. This is a typical of a cognitive behavior therapy session. This is a little later when we actually train our patients to solve. Now this is a problem. Many patients say that, one of my patients said that की आई इतकं सुंदर थालपीठ बनवते ना, मला खायचं असतं एक. I want to eat one थालपीठ, whereas I end up having 3. Okay. So she just cannot resist at that time. Okay. So now what is the problem over here? So identify the problem as early as possible. So for my patient, if it is on a plate when she sits on a dining table, she sits and mother is cooking fresh thalpits one after the other and she's going to consume that. So is that a problem for her? Okay. So every patient will have different way of looking at their problems. See, my patient is not ill over here. Unlike my CBT psychiatric disorder patients over here, the patient over here is not ill. He knows what the problem is. He or she is not able to control it, or he is not able to overcome that. That is the space I get to work upon. Okay. So identify the problem as, this is a problem solving technique we use in CBT. Okay. So identify the problem as early as possible. Okay. So whatever they're saying, then specify the problem accurately. In the morning, I was when Dr. Lagu had presented that particular case, who went to the doctors, telling the symptoms to different doctors and getting one more pill added in her prescription. Unfortunate lady. So here, my job is to the surface problems many times are different. Our patients are not trained now, they don't know what symptom to report. That's why when we sit, my work is very time intensive. Like even Dr. Deshmukh would spend quite some time for the patients to try to find out what exactly the patient is looking for, what is the primary symptom that can be addressed, or what need not be addressed, but the patient want a listening ear. Okay, so our patients are not trained in telling us what the symptom is. Many times, आता ताप आला तर गोष्ट वेगळी कळते आपल्याला. But here in these our kind of specialties, we have to really tease it out की काय नक्की सांगायचं ह्याला. What is it that is missing or not there, and if that gets present, what will be available to my patient. So specify the problem accurately. Okay. Now the work starts. So in cognitive behavior therapy, we will work out, we will brainstorm for as many solutions with the patients, the problem, and as many solutions we can brainstorm with the patient. Now, mind you, this is not my brainstorming. I'm just helping her or helping him to brainstorm as many solutions that are possible. Maybe the patient can say one or two, but we can help them to bring a few more. Okay. So, for example, think about the pros and cons of each solution. For example, have a hot bath. Now he feels like eating. He came home, he's sitting on the sofa, he's very tired, he's bored, he's exhausted, and he thought of having a hot bath. Okay? Because immediately he wouldn't want to eat. Na? Even he knows that if I eat now, I won't be able to have a dinner. Okay? So the here over here, there are the pros and cons of the different solutions we are trying to work with him. Which one he will pick up? What is the pro of every solution which has been identified, and what is the con of every situation? Okay. This is how we will be doing a exercise with the patient in the session. In a CBT therapy session, we will educate the patient with the body of that particular module. Then we will work like this with the patient with a specific problem he has identified. That is the agenda of that session. And then from here we will develop a homework. Okay? And that homework, which the patient says that I can follow this, say 90%, 100, closer to 90%. Anything more than 90% is the homework the patient is going to do, otherwise is not going to do that homework. Okay, anything less than that does not happen. Okay, so these are the various solutions to the problem, and these are the various pros and cons. Plus, minus, plus is the pro likely to happen, minus not happen, वगैरह. And then one of the things he will take up for that week and practice that, and then come for the homework in the next session. Okay, go ahead. One more example. Sudden impulse to eat or deviate from the physical activity plan. Now, many times we make a very fantastic plan. All of us do that, isn't it? We wanted to go for a walk, and what happens? Like just now the other doctor was saying, see, we hear a lot of over here, and then over there we are going and having all the food that is. So we just cannot avoid the impulses, and that's being human, I suppose, na? So that's being human, and in the want of the friendship, and the Dr. Vaishali has been treating us last 4 days with feast after feast. Anyways, so thank you for that. Anyway, so things to say, okay? Things to say for eating. And so these are the possibilities, okay? These are the possibilities when we are doing the assessment initially. When my patient come, he is not at all motivated. Like somebody was talking in the morning about resistance. Because my patient or my person who is having weight has been having it for very long time. He's got adapted to it now. It's part of him. And why would, just because I am saying that you're going to do that, it's very difficult. Or if the doctor feels that no, you must now, if the parents feel that, even the patient by now knows that if he doesn't do it now, he's going to have a lot of clinical things he can land up into. Okay. So these are the possibilities. Now the patient has to remind himself of these possibilities every now and then. Maybe त्याला ते फ्रीजवर लिहून पण ठेवावे लागतील. तो बघायला आणि ते आठवायला की या पॉसिबिलिटीमधनंच तो त्या ज्या काही गोष्टी आता करणार आहे, वॉट एव्हर ही इज गोइंग टू डू फॉर हिमसेल्फ, मे बी फॉर हिज ईटिंग और फॉर हिज मॉडिफाईंग हिज लाईफस्टाईल, these are the possibilities from where he will stand and operate. Okay, otherwise these just vanish. Vada pav dekha, possibility vanish. Okay, go to a function, possibility vanish. शाम को बारिश हुई, possibility vanish. Okay, so this is very easy for us to give up the possibility, because those possibilities are like pie in the sky. They are like going to asking for a moon. And many times patient feel that we have done that, madam. मैं इस बार भी कर लूँगा आपके लिए, मी तुमच्यासाठी आत्ता पण करेन, मी थोडंसं माझे किलोज कमी पण होतील, पण परत ते वाढेल त्याचं काय करणार आहे मी? What am I going to do? How are you going to help me? But when I'm going to regain that weight, because losing weight is not a problem. They are very young, like 22, 21 is one patient right now. Another is 26. He said losing weight is not a problem for me. I will lose maybe 10, 15, 20 also. But I gain back. So I'm actually tired of that. Okay. So, sorry. So this is about the CBT-OB protocol. Anyone have any difficulty here? You can just jot it down. I can address that later. थोडं ठेवाल तर ते लोक वाचतील. So these are the thoughts. Out of these few thoughts, the patient can choose for himself which go close to his wish of losing weight. We have to go by what the patient wants. Okay. Although this is a structured approach, but I will have to make it as per the patient wants. Okay. So now I will present a case to you, which we have enrolled for the last couple of months.
The patient has to choose one of this, or it is a dynamic thing? He can follow one thing.
Yeah, he can follow this. He can make his own also, na. In fact, based on this, I will give him these as a pointers or a थोडासा विचार करायला त्याला वेळ द्याल. ह्यातला तू चूज करणार तर तुझा बनव. He has every freedom to make a yeah. Okay, things to do पण दाखवा ना खालचं थोडंसं. दर्शन. Yeah, eating. Yeah. Slow. ठीक है. Okay, so this ends the CBT-OB protocol, the 6 modules which I have. Of course, they are in too much detail, and in the 6th session we will give them every session an overview of every module, so that they know what they are asking for, or that they will have to dwell with me if that is their priority. Okay. One of my patient has liked this program so much. I never got such kind of opportunity set. Now let's see. We have just started. आत्ता जी केस आहे ते परदेशींचे. Anyway, so now I will give you a data. Of course, I have taken the consent of the patient. The patient has gone through this data. Thereafter, I am presenting the patient. So thanks to the patient. He was willing to come and sit here also, but since I had not taken the permission, I said not now. So he is a 26-year-old unmarried male. He is master's in automotive systems, unemployed, living with parents in Pune. Now this my patient for a couple of years. He came in from Germany in November 25, and before that 2 years, 23, 24, 24, 25, he was in Germany. He was free there. He was doing the masters over there, just to give an idea. Then he is referred for weight loss, anxiety, panic attacks, and anger issues. Anger issues was the most important presenting complaint. And of course, he reported inactivity, low mood, and uncontrolled eating urges. And there later he also said later on the same session, he said that he had strained relationship with the father. Okay. So over here, this was the brief on the presenting day. Now over here, because he had the anger issues, relationship issues, and anxiety and panic was the presenting symptom. So I had to do a detailed assessment with respect to his panic related situations. And I called him for in the next week. Next slide. So once the initial session was done, and so my assessment findings were there was an anxiety related to unemployment. Now this one sentence has a lot of उसमें बहुत सारा stuff material है, तो इतना तो मैं आपको नहीं दे सकती, लेकिन little I'll tell you. Anxiety related to unemployment. Now unemployment, that he has a offer in his hand. He was working as an apprentice in a company, a government company, before he went to Germany. And now he disliked that place. He has a job opportunity over there, but he doesn't want to go there. And the father now says that instead of sitting at home, why don't you join there? So that's a everyday issue between the father and the son, that the father wants him to go there, whereas the son says, no, I'll try for other opportunities, I don't want to go. So this is, and that creates a lot of anxiety in my patient. on a daily basis, it is very difficult to resist, not to obey the parents' instructions and resist them. And so during the day, the parents are working, so he is at home, not doing anything much. And when they come back in the evening, the patient would go out to friends, loiter with them, spend time late evening, eat outside. That is how it continued. And so he had eating control difficulties, lack of routine, resistance to parental advice. He would just resist what the father says. Of course, the father kept on, when on Saturdays and Sundays when the father is at home, he would tell him to, अरे तू सोफ्यावर बसू नकोस, अरे किती वेळ बसून राहतोस, अरे TV बघू नकोस, screen time कमी कर. That was the continuous kind of instructions he would get at home. So there is a lot of interpersonal conflict with the parents he had reported. Okay, going ahead. Me. So here I did a couple of sessions for, although I write it session 2. In the first session I did training for the anxiety a little bit. In the second session, that there is a very interesting story to the second session. Now it was Friday. I was supposed to see him on Monday, and Friday he had this particular episode with his friend. On Saturday he called me, okay, Madam Mala Bhetaich, I want to meet you because I am really having a very severe panic. And I was busy with work, so I told him to call me in the evening. Now this patient on Friday had a girlfriend. Now whether madam knows it or not, he had a girlfriend online, and when he was in Germany, he had a second SIM. From there, he used to contact this girl. So from Jan, he had this online dating. So it was going good. तर तिचं नाव पण त्यांनी सांगितलं मला, काय होतं, आयशा. So it was going good. On Friday afternoon, he gets 4 consecutive calls, one after the other, from this girlfriend of his from Germany. And he did not pick up the calls because he was busy somewhere. Then in the evening, maybe by 9 or 10, he got a call from the brother of this Aisha, saying that this person has met a fatal accident. The brother died on spot, and this your friend has landed in a ICU setup, and she's really seriously injured. And the first anxiety starts that, oh, I did not pick up her call. Maybe she needed something, and I did not pick up her call. Was the first kind of responsibility he felt for himself, and felt a lot of guilt in the first few hours. Somehow he slept. The anxiety was quite high. Next day morning, he gets a call from the another brother of that patient, the person, his girlfriend, Aisha Che, and he says that she is no more. And they sent a photo of she being cremated, and the family and all that. So actual त्याने ते photo ते पाहिले, and then he had too much of palpitations, and he really blamed himself for, and things like that. And he could just not believe that. So by afternoon, he somehow was anxious, and he called me once. Then I said, if it's too urgent, go to the CMO, meet a medical doctor somewhere, and if you're not able to tolerate that. But he said, no ma'am, I want to talk to you. So we could not meet that day. Of course, there was a standing instruction that he goes to any CMO if his panic is too much, his heart rate is too much, because he's also obese. I know that he may land up into some kind of medical emergency. But he managed to. And then in the evening, I talked to him. I helped him to reduce the anxiety with respect to the hyper responsibility he was facing with respect to this situation. की मी जर तिचा कॉल वेळेत घेतला असता तर हे कदाचित झालं नसतं. Okay, something of that kind. So that first part I addressed as a crisis situation on the phone. And his anxiety was less. Sunday went like that. Monday he came back to me. We had a regular session. By then his anxiety was less, but he was having small panics, and he said that this is the worst of the panic he ever had in years. He used to have panics earlier when his father, his father used to be a little more strict father in his childhood. So he used to be bashed at times and things like that. So ते सगळं ते आत्ता पण बोलायला लागले की मला तो खूप त्यांच्याबद्दल राग येतो, what he has done to me and things like that. So he used to have those kind of, but he was quite adapted to that kind of panics. But this was a real new panic for him, and he said it was the worst ever he experienced. Now in the session, what I had to do in the first part was I help him actually grieve this virtual relationship. There was a disbelief, ती गेली कशी, ती गेलीच का, आणि मी काही केलं नाही वगैरे. So I helped him to grieve virtually, of course. Although I had in my mind that हे सगळं काही झालेलं नाही आहे, दिस इज नॉट हॅपन, दिस इज जस्ट गर्लफ्रेंड. हे जरी माझ्या बॅकग्राऊंडला असलं तरीसुद्धा आय हेल्प हिम ॲक्च्युली बी व्हेरी कम्पॅशनेट विथ हिम अँड थिंग्स लाईक दॅट. एम्पथायझर ते सगळं करून I helped him grieve, and I asked him to write a letter to that friend saying sorry to her. He wrote that letter after the session. That night again he called me and he was much better. I also told him with gradual as the time passes, his anxiety will reduce. आणि आता नाहीतरी तर काही करू शकणार नाहीच ना. सो दॅट इज हाऊ इन couple of sessions I had to help this patient reduce his anxiety. But now the good thing is I got a quick rapport with the patient, and then next he comes for the actual weight loss session. Okay, now here in the same session we also dealt about the anger he has with respect to what the father has done to him in the childhood. Now over here, I transform. What I do is I identify the thought, okay, that my father has been very strict father since childhood, and we did that, identify that thought, challenge that thought. What were the good things he did for you? Because I don't have much time. I have to do it very quickly ना. आता एक गोष्टी पटापट करून पुढे जायचं आहे. And then we modified that just listen to the father from a care and concern what he has for you, the love he has for you. That helped him a lot. Thereafter, in the next session, he comes with his father to the session, and he wanted his father to be a part of the त्यांनी पण हे ऐकायला पाहिजे म्हणून त्यांनी तो घेऊन आला. सो दिस इज वी ॲक्च्युली डिड सम रोल प्ले ओवर देअर. हाऊ विल ही कम्युनिकेट विथ हिज फादर वेन हिज फादर टेल्स हिम की मी हे कर किंवा ते नको करू. सो यूज टू रिअली ब्लर्ट आउट इन अँगर, और यू जस्ट वॉक अवे and get very angry with his father. So we did some role plays. I was his father, he was the son, or he is the father and I am his son. We did a quick role play whenever his father used to say certain things which he disliked. He didn't want to hear them, or he was fear that तो का त्यांना काहीतरी बोलेल उलटून. आजपर्यंत तो त्यांना उलटा बोललेला नव्हता. And then we decided a homework of participation in domestic activities as helping the mother who was also working. Okay. Now, so as I said, I got a ready-made opportunity for him to bring into the program of weight loss, because earlier he was not interested in having any weight-related discussions. Okay. So he said that, and by then maybe a month had happened, madam, and he had lost good 4 kgs, and he was looking fresh and things like that. So maybe the medicines were also working well for him. And then I took a great history, the assessment sheet I show you. I took that entire history with him. He also cooperated very well for me, what happened especially in Germany, because there was a lot of soda over there, sweet foods, no parental food, whatever he got, he ate. Okay, that is the time he did gain another 15-20 kgs in the past 2 years. So this is what the data I got from him on my assessment. Then we did the real-time monitoring. Now initially there was a lot of resistance की मी काय, as you rightly pointed out, की मला माझ्या हातात नाही आहे ते खायचं बनवायचं. Either my mom makes, I eat, or I go to friends, and I eat only once in a day, he said initially. And he used to come for the sessions without eating. म्हणजे अजून मी जेवलो नाही असं म्हणायचा. सो देर वॉज इनिशियल रेजिस्टन्स, काय चेंज करणार याच्यामध्ये, असं इट वॉज लाईक दॅट. So then mean monitoring and advanced planning introduced. So most of the time, at least the patient gradually then, because I had advised him in the last session ki if he can start helping mother, because he is a good cook. He can cook for himself. So evening food he can cook with the help of mother. That is what for he agreed. And there I could get some control ki he could prepare something along with the mother, one dish meal, something which is healthy also. And it is a support to the mother, and he has a more control on what he is going to eat, and he will eat and go and meet his friends. That was one of the ways of slight modification which is agreed to. Okay, and there was a weight loss of 4 kgs in the first month. Then the next session was about physical activity routine, assessing the patient for his lifestyle, because he's unemployed right now, and he has no work during the day. His all friends are at work. He's resisting. He doesn't want to go to the employment which is available to him. He doesn't want to go there. So he's resisting his father sitting at home. Then he also had a lot of hesitancy related to weekly weight monitoring, which even I don't force upon. But he started weighing himself so that whatever he eats, how much activity he has done, he has a good access to that. Then one more important thing was reduce excessive screen time, that he on his own with the help of the Google app he found out how much ते तर आपल्याकडे सगळ्यांनाच असतं, पण ते त्यांनी कमी करायचं ठरवलं by some percentage, and he actually is doing it. And there was some walking schedule he made. अच्छा, आता इथे I will give you one more example how I help him with the techniques which we use for the exercise. So initially it was decided that he would go for a walk at suppose 6 p.m. in the evening, 6 to 6:15. And we decided a homework for 7 days, 6 to 6:15. Now next time when he comes, he had done it only twice. Of course, there were rains, there were friends, and there were hundreds of reasons. So the homework which was decided for 90% did not happen on the the earlier session. Now my job is to once again find out what did not work. So I found out how could he go for those 2 days when he made it possible. So then he said that whatever reasons he had to make it for 2 days. He was very motivated. He feel good. Another 5 days he felt that he did not have enough energy to go. And that he perennially says ki मला खूप fatigue वाटतो madam. During the day also I feel very fatigued and I don't have any energy to walk now and further get more drained. That is the thought he had, and so I don't feel like going, I don't have enough energy, and so I don't go. That was his answer. Then we work upon that. Let's find out that after going, now this week again he has promised me that I will go every day. So this week the exploration or the discovery was what homework he had to do की जाऊन यायचंय, गेल्यानंतर खरंच किती ड्रेन्ड वाटतं का काही वेगळं वाटतं. Because earlier week we had found that when he went outside he did feel good. It was not that he felt any, but that is he could not overcome that for another 5 days. तो thought continue नाही राहिला. That is he has for earlier, वो त्याच्या पास्टमधनं तो सांगत होता की इफ आय गो टू जिम आय फील व्हेरी टायर्ड, इफ आय गो फॉर वॉक. सो दॅट वॉज वर्किंग राईट नाव. So then the homework was that he find out if he goes to walk or he will go for a walk, and once he comes back he will measure the percentage how much he felt tired after coming back from the walk and how much he felt not so good after coming from the walk. And that week it became 5 out of 7. Okay, because most of the time he said that going out even for 15 minutes made a slight difference. He did not feel bad, neither did he feel that it was very tiring. Other 2 days were discount. Okay, so he's using this track modules, the step tracking which he's doing now. So these are certain things they do on their own. I don't suggest much. Okay, कारण की पहिले 6 सेशन जे आहेत ते काही फार खूप मी खूप इंटेन्सिव्हली आय एम नॉट डुईंग दॅट. आय वॉन्ट टू गेट इन टू दिस फ्रेम ऑफ तो वाला माझ्यासाठी जास्ती महत्त्वाचा आहे की ओके. अँड वॉट एल्स, वेर इज द दिस इज द नाही कुठे गेलं. आय वॉन्टेड टू शो यू द, मला आधीची स्लाईड दाखव ना, तो एक चार्ट होता ना आपल्या पेशंटचा पण रिअल टाईम मॉनिटरिंगमध्ये. And it was shocking for me also. So this patient of mine has 145 kg weight, and his BMI is more than 40, 43 when it began. And this is the food intake he does. So see over here he has black coffee at 4:30 a.m. That was quite shocking to me. म्हणजे तो रात्री झोपत पण नाही आहे आणि तो that is what I get. See, I have to read in between lines instead of asking everything. So the data tells us what all work we have to do with this person, but unless the person is really ready, we cannot start. So my job over here now in this clinic is to prepare the patient to have a weight control mindset. The doctor is actually prescribing medicines, working very hard with the patient. The patient is also working very hard to achieve the results. The family is supporting. I see my role over here as to give him a lining or an astar or a foundation on which my patient takes up these protocols, starts cooperating or joining this, taking it very seriously, and goes through this entire program. That is where I am looking at this program now, and I find it very passionate. I really love this work. Somehow I found a work of my choice.
I think madam has done a lot of homework in getting this protocol set at our clinic, and she's really worked very hard on all our morbidly obese patients. And most of the patients whom I have been referring to her have shown a lot of positive responses in their mindset also and in their weight parameters also. Of course, we are treating them simultaneously with the medications also. Two techniques which I found in our clinic which are very useful is one is this CBT technique and second is the mind body interventions which Padke madam is doing with most of these patients where she's helping them set up their autonomic system in place. So I think, are there any questions for madam?
I have a short comment, Dr. Chandratre is not here, isn't it? Hmm. Because if Dr. Chandratre were to be here or a classical cognitive behavior psychotherapist would be here, he would say this is more of a supportive work. Why do you want to call it CBT? The good supportive work is a good thing, because what you are primarily offering is a supportive, secure relationship. So my suggestion would be that maybe you could, frame it that way. It's fine, supposing if you were to present it to a conference where there are clinical psychologists, because they may object to this, that this is not a CBT. That's why I said Chandrate is not here, because Chandrate actually does a lot of behavior therapy. Behavior therapy has a whole set of incentive programs and all that. What he was like talking upstairs there. Or a cognitive therapy identifies, specific cognitive errors and people work on that. Supportive therapy itself is a good therapy. It need not be called, as a CBT. Is a question, because why I tried to bring to your attention is that otherwise you are doing a good work. But people may someday say that this is not CBT, because CBT is slightly different than this. As CBT is understood. Supportive work is working well. Sorry. No, it should be called. No, it should be called as a good supportive therapy. What she described is a supportive therapy. Typical young person who has a sort of interpersonal issues with his parents. She develops a rapport with him. She offers initially a sort of a supportive, grief counseling to this person. Thereafter, she continues to be a supportive person. We call it as a surrogate parent. She almost works like a surrogate parent. So she is providing more of an emotional comfort to this person, which itself actually is a good target. But classically speaking, CBT is different than this. This is not CBT. This is a good supportive work. Supportive work is very useful, in fact. CBT, classical CBT involves the cognitive part, typically involves identifying the cognitive errors or the cognitive biases that the person has, identifying, and person works on the cognitive part. A typical behavior therapy involves actually setting up a certain, incentive program, certain reinforcements, which are contingent upon certain behavior or withholding rewards, like he told you about the token economy, what he is doing. So that's why I think, that label, one should be careful, to use these labels, otherwise it's like, that these are the CBT results. No, they are supportive therapy results. Supportive therapy is a good therapy. No problem about it. In fact, I am happier, that actually supportive therapy works for these people. They may need a lot of emotional cushion. CBT does not provide so much emotional cushion. CBT is a very bland sort of a therapy, which sort of works more on incentives and works more on identifying cognitive errors and work on that. Supportive work is a good work. Every doctor is supposed to be doing, every health professional actually should do this supportive work. That is what I mean. CBT is a very specific technique. If you are doing CBT, fine. Call it CBT. If you are doing supportive work, call it supportive work.
Yeah. Got that, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
for the bringing it to notice. So this six
Because
sessions
otherwise,
will
what may
be
happen is, people may someday
yeah.
challenge this, that this
Yeah.
is not CBT.
Yeah.
What you have done is a supportive work, good supportive
so could
work.
it be like this that orientation to CBT is the 6 session work? Orientation or supportive work too.
Supportive
Okay.
work.
And then there
good
is a
thing.
actual 24 plus 48 weeks. If the patient readies for that is a priority, then I can do it with him. That
Yes,
is the
yes.
intensive
So,
protocol
so
then.
call it as a,
Yeah.
that you did a 6 session
Hmm.
supportive work with this
Yeah.
person, and the
Okay.
6 session
That I
supportive
will
work with
definitely.
this
Thank you for
person
bringing to notice.
was
sir.
very nice,
Yeah.
because it provided the emotional cushion to this. Absolutely. And in fact, it is expected that actually every healthcare professional should be doing this, in an empathic way, it had all those ingredients. She was non-judgmental to this person. You know, then she was sort of had this belief, that this person has good capacity, to work on himself. She did not reject him. She accepted the way this person was. This is typically, in good counseling or a good supportive work. This is how, in fact, is a good model actually, Every healthcare professional should be like this with their patient. Empathic, warm, this is what we always talk, all the good desirable words. Non-judgmental, empathic, warm, allowing, the person to move at one's own pace, not really pushing the person into some kind of thing, etc. Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Because this is good work, good supportive work.
Now, if this patient agrees, then I will do the intensive work, which is 24 plus 48 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
So
is
you
CBT.
say that we did a
I have that program
supportive
with me.
intervention with
And
this person. And
Thank you for that excellent
yes.
take through to the supportive work as sir mentioned. And it's my pleasure.
It is a noble activity. See, it is not that CBT is nobler, than supportive work. It is not that CBT is some higher order nobler work and the supportive work is a less order work. Supportive work is a good high order work.
It was a good storytelling session that we could go through the journey very, and it was quite engrossing, I would say. So now we move to the last session for the conference, and I would request Dr. Leena Phadke, madam, to come to the stage. So, Madam has extensive work in integrative medical research at SKNMC, and she's the professor and head of Department of the Integrative Medical Research. She has done her Herbert Benson MD course in mind body medicine. She's been with us since the first synapse, and she's been working very actively in research in mind body services at SKNMC. She has numerous publications and clinical research experience of nearly 2 decades in autonomic neuroscience, in diabetes and cardiology, and its application of machine learning and AI for predictive medicine. She is the lead researcher in the Indo-German collaboration on neuroscience of yoga. She is recipient of research grants for ANS modulation research in yoga and numerous publications to her credit, and she's a part of many societies, and tele HRV system patent in digital technologies to her credit. So madam is actually working on different mind body interventions, especially with HRV and yoga, and she's going to take the last session for today, that is the yoga based neuroregulatory training. We heard about an unregulated mind yesterday, and today we are talking about regulating this unregulated mind so that it can work better and function better for obesity. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So before so just in continuation, if you could see label exactly for this reason. Otherwise, people may challenge. You tell them in 2, 3, 4 sessions we do yoga. So people may say, 2-4 session मध्ये कसं करता नाही का yoga is such a appropriate labeling is useful, but we are not doing the whole of classical Ashtang yoga, but we have taken inspiration from that and we are just doing a limited purpose yoga. You can say a limited purpose yoga.
Now we will experience it rather than talking that what is this neuro regulation in yoga means. I will cut down to the theory part because now we are not having that much of time for discussing about how we have designed this program and all that. The only thing is, in that book that we have written, there are two different aspects through which we look to the patient. One is the disease part of the patient, and the other one is the health part of the patient. So disease part is called as load, and different parameters which gives you health, they are called as a net. Okay, so this model has been designed where the load is there. So you can just consider it like there is a net and there is a load. Okay, if you put a load on the net, there will be some distortion of the net. So if your net is strong, then it will be able to bear whatever load that is there. So as a doctor, we currently focus on the load part. Obesity as a disease. All these parameters which have been taught throughout the conference is about the disease. Yoga-based neuroregulation training, what we give as one tool, is meant first to strengthen the net. Okay, so the parameters for health is different. Parameters for disease are different. Medicine should be given for the load aspect, and then for the net, all the other therapies along with, if required, medicines. So that's why this word mind, body, medicine, because medicine equally plays an important role into the whole therapy. So we are not avoiding any medicine. Okay, along with this net building, if wherever that is required, we refer the patient to the respective faculties or respective doctors. That we have seen that this might be the problem, though the patient has not talked this problem with the doctor. But if we have found that, and if it requires, if the problem is of having a severity, we refer that to start with the medicine. So nowhere it's like that we are either totally dependent on one mind-body tool. Many things at one time we use. So this is what is the background for the mind-body medicine, right? So it's not just about yoga. It's not just about psychological therapy. It's not just about the diet. It's not just about that has been included in integrative medicine. Equally, medicines for a different things also included in mind-body medicine. Okay, so this is what is the background. Now, for today's topic, yoga-based neuroregulation training. So we are saying based. It is not a yoga class. So here we don't want the patient to come regularly for the class. Here we want to teach basic principles. From there, the patients should start doing yoga. So these are the principles which we first discuss with the patient. And then we design the sessions that if you want to teach these principles, how many sessions that are required to teach individual concepts of those yoga-based training. Now, when we are calling it as a yoga-based neuroregulation training, that means the brain is automatically involved in that. So this is because there are various myths related to with yoga, the patients, and even with the doctors also, they are having a lot of myths. So I will just start with this, that what you consider yoga as. When you say that yogasan, I'm doing yogasan, what do you mean by that? That what is, how you will define that yogasan that you do? Have you ever practiced yogasan? So can you just give me any single asan and can you just tell me how you do that? How that you do the asan? So we'll start with that, because when we have to talk about the neuroregulation training, then we will talk about these myths that are there related with the yoga class. Please, yes. Yeah, I agree with that. But can you tell me that while doing Padmasan, what instructions that you follow to do the Padmasan?
Sit quietly, sit on the ground, hold your legs like what you do.
And then what to do?
Concentrate.
Where?
Internal mind.
So these are very vague terms, because the inner awareness, internal means where in internal? Because you have a huge body. Where to focus on? Whether on breathing, whether on thoughts, whether on any point, whether on the viscera, whether on the heart. where to focus.
Actually, instructors always keep calm, focus on your breath, close your eyes, like that.
So this is from where I think the patient also have the same kind of myths. So we have to first address those myths with the patient. So in first session, we always tell them that what the asana, what is the classical definition of asana, what is expected in the asana, and what the neural involvement that is there in asana while doing. Can I ask you another question? That if you do Tadasana, what instruction normally is given is the stretch. Stretch your arm. Okay. How yoga is different from than passive physiotherapy? In passive physiotherapy also, we stretch. So passive stretching is there in physiotherapy also. Active stretching is also there in physiotherapy. It means where in passive, somebody else is stretching. In active, you are stretching the muscle. So how that is different from the instruction that the yoga teacher has given to you? Because both of them, they are saying stretch. So is the stretch of physiotherapy is different from the stretch of yoga? How come?
There is mind-body connection.
So what mind is involved over here? What mind is involved over here? Because see, mind is involved even in the physiotherapy also. It's not like that because ultimately it is the brain which is giving command to the muscle. Muscle themselves cannot stretch themselves. It is the brain which is telling the muscle to stretch.
You can feel it actually, but
Yes. How yoga is different from exercise? Because most of the research papers, even from outside, what they have ultimately said is that yoga and exercise both works in diabetes, both works in obesity. So why I should give yoga to the patient? Why can't I tell ki do the exercise? But if there is something uniqueness in yoga which the exercise doesn't give, then I can justify that a yoga will work better for you than the exercise. Otherwise, both of the modalities are good for the patient and let the patient choose. But if there is a difference, then we have to give yoga in that different way only. Otherwise, it will be exercise that you are giving and you are calling it as yoga. Like we are giving supportive therapy as just you have seen, and we are calling it CBT. Similarly, if I am giving exercise and calling it yoga, I'm doing injustice to the word yoga. So that's why this neuroregulation training is, I think, is most important right from the beginning to give this concept that yoga is going to be different, exercise is different, because we use exercise also as a tool in mind body therapy. But patient knows that they are doing exercise because these are the features of exercise and these are the yoga. When they are doing yoga, then these are the features that are going to be of yoga. With exercise, the weight loss you can get with what the intensity, it depends upon the intensity of exercise, and accordingly you will get weight loss. With yoga, it will be not a short-term kind of thing related to weight loss. With yoga, you are going to make some changes in the brain which will take time. They will not be instant. So depending on the patient's choice, they can decide what is to be. In Sutra, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, 3 sutras are dedicated for asana. Only 3 sutras. One is what is asana. Second, how to achieve that asana. And third, what you are going to get out of it. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha is the first sutra of Patanjali. It is not describing asana. There are 3 sutras. One is for the asana. is Sthira Sukha Asanam. So this is what is the definition. That asan is to be called as asan only when it gives a feeling of steadiness and sukhavaha, comfort. So anything which is not steady and not comfortable is not asan. It is an exercise. This is the first thing you have to tell. Then how to achieve this? How to achieve sthira sukha? You know all the activities, whatever activities that you start with, it is always done with some efforts. You have, if you are folding your legs, you are just putting your standing in a posture. Initially, you start with some effort. Second definition of how to achieve that sukha sthira is given by the second sutra is prayatna shaithilya ananta samapattibhyam, means bring the effortlessness for holding that posture for a long period of time. Ananta samapatti. So you can hold that posture for a long period of time only when you are able to do it effortlessly. Here comes the neuromechanics, that how to do asana in an effortless way, how to minimize the muscle contraction. So it is not about the contraction of the muscle in the pose, it is about the relaxation of the muscle in the pose. And that is what is the basic difference between exercise and asana. Exercise takes you from effort to more effort. Asana wants you to take from effort to effortlessness. So if you are doing asana with effort like 108 Surya Namaskar, it will fall under the category of exercise. It will not fall under the category of asana. So it is good to do exercise. I'm not saying doing exercise is bad. Exercise is good. But what is expected in asana, you're not doing that. We cannot call that as asana, because it's not my definition. It is a Patanjali's definition of calling something as asana. So this is second. And third is tatoho dvandva anabhigata. What you are going to get out of it. What are you are going to get out of this doing asana. It is called as tatoho, यानी हे केल्याने, ऐसा करने के बाद. ततोहो का मतलब द्वंद्व. द्वंद्व यानी conflicts, polarity. Unabhigata means will not be able to harm you. Ghat ka means harm. Unabhigat means not able to harm you. So if you are faced with polarity, you will be able to tolerate both extremes. If you are able to do it, you are doing asana. If you are not able to do it, you are doing exercise. Because the goal is clearly given. So based on this, now you have to assess the patient. Because if you have to see the progress in asana, you have to look for this, that patient is progressing in managing the conflicts or not. Flexibility is not the marker. Weight is not the marker. Conflict is the marker. To be or not to be is the marker. That if the food is there and if I am in a conflict, whether I am able to resolve it or not, or whether I will be able to be okay कि ठीक है आज खाया कल नहीं खाएंगे. Food is there, आज नहीं भी खाया. तो कभी ऐसा पेशेंट को या पेशेंटला असं मनात येतंय का, that you have to observe when you are giving asana as a therapy. So we don't check for the weight. We assess for these conflicts that the patient gives us prior to, means before giving any kind of program, we have to assess the patient. So we actually note down all these things. that what is there with the patient and whether they are able to do it or not. So have you got this? That this asana is different than physiotherapy. It is different than exercise. So if you want to deal with if you want to teach the asana, then now we will start with that. That now what is the regulation part in it? All of you as a doctor know you are having certain areas in the brain which start with the muscle command. There are some sensory feedback loops which again goes back to the motor areas which control your movements. So we have to use this sensory and motor loops continuously while doing asana. So if you are focusing outside, you will not be able to do asana. We have to focus inside. Now, what to focus inside is the sensory loops. The sensory loops means all the sensations which goes from muscles, which goes from your joints, which will guide you to do the action. So, the point of focus in asana is the joints and muscles and not the breath. Breath is the focus for pranayam, right? Breath is not the focus for asana, because to make the asana sukhasthira, you have to get information from your joints and muscles in order to make the corrections in the asana so as to make it comfortable. So that's why we have to start with the introception, not the introspection. Introception means giving focus or having a focus on the body, sensation from the body. Now you are having multiple muscles, you are having multiple joints. Now where to focus on this? So for that, it is Indian scripture only. You have a marma theory. Marma माहिती आहे तुम्हाला, मर्म. आपण मर्म म्हणतो ना. So based on these marma theories, there are certain points in the body on which you have to have a focus while doing asana. Second thing, physiotherapy is a local, it deals with the local problems. Yoga starts with the global, पूरा बॉडी को, एक जॉइंट नहीं. Okay, so it's a global phenomena, and very importantly, to have a correct biomechanic or correct neuromechanic for it, yoga should always start from foot. So foot is the first point for introception. So I think we will take first that as a introception. You yourself try to do it. Can you remove your chappals? I think we can. Yeah. So I will just give you few ideas about it because it's a huge topic, and to cover it in half an hour, it will be a little bit difficult. So very important points that we will discuss. The therapist will touch you in order to get an idea that how much force you are applying for doing that, because they can guide you that you have to reduce this force while right? So please allow them to touch you. We have to tell it to the patient that while doing asana, we can touch you. Right? Like that. So can you give the consent? So my team is one therapist, Shilpa and Payal. So Payal, can you hold the chair? Socks ही काटने तो बोले. You will be able to feel. Okay. Now we will start with introspection. So irrespective of what disease the patient comes with, In neuroregulation training, we always start with the interoception. And we try to judge what is the interoceptive ability of that patient. Because if the interoception is poor, you have to work a lot on that. So from that you get an idea that how much time this patient is going to get for this for yoga training. Okay, it's not just about the sessions. We have to teach the patient. So we give them one homework which they can do at home. They can practice and then they can come back. Okay. So as we have to start from the pool, first thing that we have to interocept is about our own load transmission. So can you close your eyes, stand in whatever way you want to. Are you able to feel your load which is passing from upper body to the lower body? And can you tell me that on which leg you feel that load is more compared to other? Or is it said, don't manipulate right now anything, don't do any correction, just feel that are you able to feel the load transmission? How many of you are able to feel your load? And we tell the patient that various principles that are given in the Ashtanga Yoga, you have to use them. The first and foremost is about Satya. If you are not able to feel, say it. If you are able to feel, then say it. If anybody is having difficulty to feel the load transfer, or there is another method by which we try to teach is that just little bit move forward without lifting your foot. Move forward. Are you able to feel now that the load is shifted? Little bit backward. Little bit backward. We will talk about it. So don't manipulate anything right now. First, just feel that whether you are able to feel that transmission of load. Is it equal? Now just feel whether it is equal on both the legs or whether it is more on one compared to other. Keep it to yourself. So this is the next thing that we have to look for. If you are not able to feel कि एक पैर पे जाना है दूसरे, just do one thing without lifting your leg. You shift voluntarily your load on the right leg. Difference समझ में आया? कभी voluntarily on the left side. Are you able to feel it? That there could be load either on the right side or on the left leg. Now again stand in a normal way and feel that on which side now you are perceiving more load, whether on the right or a left or equal on both. Don't try to shift your load, just feel. Now third thing, try to feel at a foot level whether the load is more on your front leg or whether it is more on your heels. पंजाबवरती असं आहे की एडी feel that. Heel. And is it equally distributed on both?
Right heel more than left.
Yeah. So right heel more than left, and it is more on heel. Any other? Same. So almost you are distributing more of your great body weight on the right leg. Right? You are distributing more on the right leg in order to make it balanced, because postural corrections start from here. If you use too much of your right leg, naturally the muscles on that side will contract more, will have to work more, and it will also have an effect on pulling of your skeleton, especially the spine on one side. And from here, over a period of time, you will find that the logarithmic changes are there. So the changes in the spine curvature starts from the unequal distribution of your load on your legs. So let the patient be of diabetes, let the patient be of chronic backache, let the patient be of heart disease. The first thing in introspection starts with the posture correction, because that helps that person to do yoga. Okay, so this is the first thing. And now, once you are able to recognize that where you are having load, the samasthiti starts. Right? How now try to balance the load on both of your legs. So mentally give the instruction for a samasthiti. Now please pay attention to the instructions that is given, because in neuroregulation it is the therapist's instruction that makes the difference in asana. If the therapist gives any other kind of instruction, the brain will follow it in that particular way. If the therapist says stretch, the brain will give command to muscle to stretch. Okay?
So let us practice samasthiti now. For this, we'll keep both the legs a bit apart, comfortably apart. Not too much, should be about shoulder width distance or hip width apart. Now keep both the feet parallel to each other. Keep them parallel. So your inner edge, okay, so the median edge of your feet should be parallel to each other. Just check whether you're keeping it that way.
You can use your vision also to start with. But afterward, you have to use the interoception, that whether my legs are like this, they are wide apart, or now they are changing the angle and they have now become parallel, or little bit, and you have to make little bit corrections and take a feedback. Take little bit corrections and take feedback, whether it's parallel or not. So just first see that whether they are parallel or not, and then start.
Now once you have checked that they are parallel, please close your eyes, keep your hands beside your body and stand comfortably without moving your feet. Close your eyes and just observe your feet without looking at them now. Okay, now you may open your eyes and tell me, without looking at your feet, whether you could feel that they are parallel or they were turned inward. You felt that they are placed like this. Look at my feet. You felt like you were standing like this. You had this feeling? Your feeling was that. So that means that for your brain, standing like this is keeping your feet parallel. Now since you have kept them parallel, what the angle is changing in your brain and you feel that they are like this. Now just check once whether they are still parallel or not. So this is what Mal was trying to tell you. Okay. Now it's about the feedback that is going to the brain. So we'll move to the next part. Please close your eyes again and keep your hands beside your body. Hands beside your body. Keep your legs straight. Now again we'll pay attention to the feet. For both the feet are parallel, just check whether your weight is going more through your right foot or through your left foot.
Now you feel it's equal?
Or whether it is equal.
Now
You are able to feel it equal?
right foot.
Right.
He's feeling it on the right side. Anybody else who is feeling it on one side more?
Left foot.
Anybody else? Or equal on both sides? Equal. So those who feel equal, stay like that. Those who feel either on one side, you have to make some correction. Okay? So आप correction बताओ. So that by doing this, you know that they are present or they are third.
Immediately they are parallel, but yes, feeling is turn inside. So physically हमारा parallel बनता है, low weight और left, feet forward as feet parallel, and then थोड़ा आसन नहीं करना.
हाँ आसन नहीं करना.
After
So we change those. Okay. You have to first eat and then again ask the way. Now we will make corrections on your other joints now. Okay. That there may be a problem that your knees are not in a proper. And that's why you are feeling that there is some problems. Right. So first we will start with the foot, then we will go up. Okay. Now go ahead.
So now we'll feel a weight through the heels and through the front side. So just check whether your weight is going more through the front side or more through the heels.
क्या feel?
Or you feel that it's going kind of equal. It's going through the midpoint.
Focus on foot. It's equal. Where, what do you mean by equal? Is it same on the front and back of your foot? Feeling. Right? Based on their own feeling. That if the person is feeling, say, on one side it is on hill and on other side it is on forefoot, then make correction for this, take little bit back, and for this take it little bit forward. So like this is how for the foot.
Yes.
That's what we look for.
Yeah. Now close your eyes again. Keep your hands beside your body. We are still at the foot level. So now we'll pay attention to the edges, the lateral edge and the medial edge. Now check whether your weight is going more through the lateral side or through the medial side. How many of you are feeling it more through the inner side of your feet? You feel it? Better. Inner side like this.
Inner circle काय आहे की आपला पाय जो आहे, our leg, is little bit like this. Your bone is little bit towards inner side. That's why your load is on that side.
So those who are feeling it, that it is going through the inner side, what they need to do is slightly lift the inner side of your feet. It is going to happen at the ankle joint. So you need not lift your toes, but you need to gently roll your ankle and lift your curve.
Equal
Like this. It should happen at the ankle. This, can you see? I've lifted the inner side. My toes and my, this point is still touching the floor.
Now you have to make correction. Yes.
कुठले पॉइंट स्ट्रेच व्हायला पाहिजेत खाली you should feel your weight going through this point to this point to this. You got it? So हे नाही उचलायचं सर आपल्याला. It should touch. It should happen at the ankle joint like this. This is touching. This is touching.
A little bit load on the lateral side. Not on the
This is touching. Keep your toes down. You got it? थोड़ा जास्त चैलेंजिंग करते हैं.
They are giving you support. You have to train the brain
So जमता है.
to shift your. Okay? Right. So this is just an example that how we start with the foot. So then go now the knee.
Yeah. Now we'll pay attention to the knees.
Standing
Again, keep your hands beside your body and pay attention to your knees and see to it that your knees, the back side of your knees doesn't feel tight. Now check whether you feel that the back side of your knees is tight. Just pay attention to it. Now, with your permission, we'll come and check whether it is tight or not. So we need to touch your knees for that.
And for that, we also give the patient the instruction that how to know about it, what is tight and what is relaxed. So first, just bend your knees and feel that this is what the bend knee means. ऐसा overall जी feel येते ती bend knee आहे. Then you take your legs and lock your knees. Push it back. Push it back. Push your knee back. Like you have taken folding it and now you are dropping it back. So this feeling, now that you are feeling, is of locked knee. Okay? Are you able to get it? So bend knee and lock knee. So patient appreciate this fast. That this is what bend means and this is what tight knee means. With correction, you have to bring your knees to neutral position. They should not be bent, they should not be tight, too tight. Make it in between. Ana तुम्ही स्वतः आणा. Do experiments with yourself. Yoga is about doing experiments. हाँ. Are you able to feel it? Right? That this is tight, this is bent, and you have to bring to the neutral position. Okay? So you will immediately feel the tightness coming झाला. येतोय जाणवतोय? Because this is the correct way of keeping your knee. Normally with the habit, we are in a habit to make it in a tight lock position. So these simple habits we have to change. And habit change is one very important feature of any habit change. Once you are able to do it over here, you will be able to do it with your internal thoughts also. The habits of same internal thoughts. We can train the brain. We can change this habit. Right? So this is for the knee. Then we have to go for the hip.
Now we'll move towards happens that we stand by not tilting our pelvis in the anterior way. So this is the way we stand many a times when we stand for a longer time. So we need to check that there is no pressure at the lower back level. So for this, we'll do a small activity. Keep both the hands on the iliac crest. Yes. Can you feel it? Can you feel the whole iliac crest up? Okay. Now we'll move it like this. Forward and backward. Forward and backward. Feel the anterior and the posterior tilt of your pelvis. Some of you may not be able to do it. Some of you may be able to do it. So those who are not able to do, we need to work a bit on those. Okay. So now what we need to do is, if we stand, okay, let us stand, tilting the pelvis in the anterior fashion for some time and hold. Hold it for a while. Hold kadu hua thoda sa and observe your lower back now. Do you feel pressure here? It's discomfort. So what we will do, let's release that and gently tilt the pelvis and try to bring it in the neutral fashion.
Horizontal.
Horizontally.
Either anterior tilt, either posterior.
Everybody understood this point? Now, once you tilt it and try to bring it horizontal, what is happening? The pressure which was built up at the lower back will go away. You will feel a quick relief. Can you feel that relief? Can you appreciate it? Wonderful. Now, we have come to this point. Now, what we'll do, we'll gently activate, slightly activate the brachial muscles, slightly contract your buttocks.
Slightly contract.
Very slight contraction. Can you appreciate that? Can you feel that it is happening? Okay. Now, to keep the pelvis in the neutral position, we need to engage our core. So for this, we'll gently roll in our tummy. So it won't go like this. So our khapatila mein nahi we'll gently roll in the tummy, which will help the movement of pelvis and help us to bring it to the horizontal position. So just check whether you can do it. So Rishna was perfect.
So you have to work on this. So we tell the patients that what are the points on which he has to work. Okay, then the side chest.
Now, once we have reached up to this level, we need to pay attention to the side chest. For this, we'll gently raise our trunk up and keep it engaged. Now, feel the side chest muscles being slightly active, both the sides, the right and left side. You need to observe whether you can really appreciate that, or just one side feels to be tight and another not working.
But usually, diseases where muscles are getting fatigued or sarcopenia is there, your trunk first try to shrink, khali jayega lagta, because of the effect of gravity. So you have to train your anti-gravity muscles, spinal sagya, by just lifting the sides. Don't use your shoulders to lift your trunk. Shoulders should be relaxed. Shoulders should be relaxed. Relax your shoulders. Right here. Yes. Now there. This side is relaxed.
Raising the trunk, what is happening? This should not happen. We are raising the shoulders. What we need to do is we need to raise the trunk. You got the difference? This and this. Okay? So hip crunch while upward, it should be straight.
Why? Because if your shoulders are hurting, then you would like to come out of that asana very fast. Anything that pains or stretch too much or hurt, you won't be able to hold that asana. So for holding the asana, it should be tan free, stretch free and pain free. Don't use excessively the muscles which are not required to stand, because that is what the extra muscles that you are using for the posture. For posture, you require a good gastrocnemius, you require a good quadriceps, you require good gluteus, you require good side chest, and you require good triceps. All of them are anti-gravity muscles. We don't have to use flexors much. It is the anti-gravity muscles that are to be used in asana, in all asanas. It is not just for this posture, it is for all postures. We have to engage anti-gravity group of muscles. The same instructions you have to give in all asanas. Start with the foot, then look at the knee, then look at the hip, that whether it is tilted, whether it is like this, then look at the side stairs, whether it is sinking or whether you are giving it direct, and see for the triceps, that whether your hands are folded or you have engaged your triceps, that they should be in extension. So it is equal for all the asanas. Now, you don't have to tell the names of the muscle to the patient because they don't know anatomy. I am telling you over here the names of muscle because you know anatomy. But for the patient, you have to just touch it. Pay attention here, 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 and here. That's it. Okay? एकदा तुम्ही करू. परत एकदा. 10 points focus.
So we were discussing कुठे नेमकं focus करायचंय. Okay, ma'am told that. So she mentioned about the Marma points which are from Ayurveda. Okay, Marma चिकित्सा आयुर्वेदातली आहे. So then त्याच्यातले 10 points वर आपण focus करणार. So those 10 points are 2 feet, 2 knees. Okay, 4 done. Okay, after that 2 sides of your hip. Hip joints and bony sides. Then your side trunk muscles. And then your triceps. So your right side and left side. Both sides will 10 points. So now let us pay attention to it. Now whatever we did right now, let us revise it. Keep both the feet parallel to each other.
Or we can do the other asana. Let them feel it in other asana. So this is what Samasthiti. Now they can do the head. Okay.
Sure. Let's work on some other asana. We will do Adho Mukha Svanasana. And while doing Adho Mukha Svanasana, we'll do the modified version of it. So what we need to do, we'll show you first and then we'll do it. For Adho Mukha Svanasana, you will be standing closer to the support. You will hear? Okay. So for this, we'll be standing closer to the support because we do it for patients. So we ask the patients to stand closer to the support so that they don't feel like they're losing their balance because they need to move, bend forward. So by going back, we need to go through the hip joint and not through the legs. If we take our legs back, then they may or may not be parallel to the floor. But if we move them through the hip like this, so what will happen? They will remain parallel to it. Now, once we are moving back, we are holding the support with the help of the fleshy part of our palms. So fingers won't take the weight, but the fleshy part of the palms will be taking the weight, and then we are moving back. Once we are moving back, we'll see to it that our legs are parallel to the floor. Once we go into the posture, we'll check that both the feet are parallel the way we did right now, and both of them will take equal weight. The right and the left foot will take equal weight. The front side and the heels will take equal weight. The inner edges will be lifted up. Observe that. Inner edge will be lifted up. The backside of the knees will be soft. The back will not be stretched at all. The back has to be relaxed. The shoulders need to be relaxed. So what will be activated here are your triceps. You may feel activation in the side chest muscles. You'll feel activation of your quadriceps, your glutes, your quadriceps, and your calf muscles. So you need to check whether these parts are activated and all other parts are relaxed. Especially your back should be relaxed. There should be no stretch felt in the back.
पुढे आधी जायचं सगळे पुढे उभे राहा हात टेकवा हात पूर्ण टेकवायचे ओके आता हळूहळू मागे जा गो बॅक हळूहळू जा यस गो 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 अजून 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 बस अँड नाउ यू हॅव टू मूव फ्रॉम दिस यस गो डाऊन गो डाऊन गो डाऊन गो डाऊन गो डाऊन balance diet right so food is one important information that gives the brain कि I am stable. Okay? दूसरा कान से जाती है information. All of you know you are having a vestibular apparatus which gives you the state of your head. That whether it is falling on one side or whether it is stable. Okay? So one is vestibular apparatus that is giving the information. One is from the foot that is giving the information. And third is vision that I am stable. Okay? Vision also tells you that you are stable. Because diabetes में वही होता है. उनको न्यूरोपैथी होती है. आँख बंद किया, बैलेंस जाने लगता है. That is what trauma sign is. Right? That as soon as you cut the vision, the person starts feeling imbalance. Okay? So we will not use vision. We will rely on the information which is coming from food and the information which is coming from your ear. Now when you go on one side like this, food is giving information कि you are in a stable state और अच्छा बैलेंस है क्योंकि फूड में डिस्टेंस है. Ear is giving you information that your body is going on one side. So you may fall on this side. Now this is a typical challenge that you are giving to brain. किसका सुन? Information coming from your foot, you should rely on that, or the information coming from your ear, which is telling you that you are falling. दोनों ही आपके sensations हैं. Brain has to decide, right? And you will find that when your brain learns that in both situations I am not going to fall, trembling कम होने लगता है. Initially it's an anxiety that triggers cerebellum को anxiety से tremors create करता है ना muscle में. So when you train yourself every day by giving this simple challenge, you can make your brain feel that I can resolve this and still I can stand in this position for a long period. So this is a simple experiment. Every day you are giving a little bit challenge. By doing asana, एक बार किसी में सिर नीचे जाता है अपना किसी आसन में. So again you are giving a challenge that you are falling down. And still then you are able to manage yourself in that posture for a long period. That means your brain is resolving those challenges. and you are still comfortable in that posture. This is what is the training that we are giving today. ये systematic training रोज अपन ने दिया अपने को, then learns to resolve the challenges. क्योंकि ये challenge posture का है, ये emotion का भी challenge हो सकता है. So challenging the body. Yes, sir, please.
Your eyes also are giving you a sense of safety despite the conflict between here and foot.
Yes, that's
So I
right.
just tried closing.
Yeah. Can you feel the bony edge? So we are feeling the ischial tuberosity right now. And we need to check that we are putting equal weight through both the buttocks. Can you appreciate that? Now another part of it. Now see, you're leaning or you're sitting like this. Gently roll in your tummy and lift your trunk. So this is Dandasana, it is called, but you should be able to comfortably hold it. So let's release, now lie down, we'll do relaxation. Okay. So keep your legs comfortably apart and keep your phones on silent mode. Please. Keep your feet apart. Keep your hands beside your body. Keep your neck straight. कुणाला थंडी वाजती आहे का? थंडी वाजत असेल तर सांगा, चादर देता येईल. तुम्हाला वाजती आहे? आता ज्यांना कम्फर्टेबल आहे ते डोळे बंद करा. चष्मे काढून ठेवा, डोळ्यावरचा चष्मा काढा. खिशात काही सामान असेल तर काढून ठेवा प्लीज. Now make a tight fist with your right hand. गच्च मुठ कळा उजव्या हाताची. Your right hand only. उजव्या हाताची मुठ घट्ट करायची आहे. अंगठा आज्ञा ज्यांना कम्फर्टेबल आहे आणि मॉडरेटली प्रेशर आपल्याला द्यायचं आहे. The pressure should not be too much की वर खांद्यापर्यंत दंडापर्यंत ताण जाईल. But you should be able to feel that tightness till your elbow. So observe the tightness in your right hand, which is generated through the fist, and you can feel it till your right elbow. Straighten your fingers, relax. Straighten your fingers and keep your hand very, very relaxed. Observe, how does it feel when you relax your right hand? Now, we'll hold the right hand at the elbow joint, creating tightness in the upper arm. आता मूठ नाही बंद करायची. You may hold it at the 90-degree angle and make your upper arm tight. You may check, you may touch and feel the middle part of your bicep and check whether it is tight enough, whether you can engage it. See to it that you're not tightening your shoulders. Only your upper arm muscles should be tight. Feel the tightness in your right upper arm. Okay, now relax. Put your hand down and relax your right hand. Observe, how do you feel? How does your right hand feel when it is relaxed? Feel the difference between your tight hand and relaxed hand. Now, close, make a tight fist of your left hand. Make it tight enough so that you feel tension till your left elbow. Feel the tightness in your left hand. Feel the tightness in your left hand. The remaining body should be normal and you should be able to feel tightness only in your left hand. Relax. Straighten up your fingers. Relax your hand and observe whether the tightness has gone away. Now, fold the left hand at elbow joint, creating tightness in the upper arm. Feel the tightness in your left hand. Relax. Bring your hand down. Bring your hand down gradually. Now both hands are relaxed. Observe your relaxed hands. Observe your relaxed hands. Now relax. Now keep your eyes gently closed. Keep your eyes gently closed. Feel your relaxed eyes. Observe the difference between your tensed eyes and relaxed eyes. Observe your relaxed eyes. Now we'll create tightness in the jaws. Pull your jaws against each other firmly and pull your lips, pull your cheeks towards your ears as if you're saying E. Feel the tightness in your jaws. Feel the tightness in your cheeks. Colorमध्ये जाणून दे टाईट झालेलं.
So we give first these sessions to patient. We ask them to do practice it at home, and then gradually we shift. If suppose a person is not having too many thoughts in mind, very calm right from the beginning, then you can start with the neuroregulation. But if it is not there, you have to start with the neuroregulation. This the PMR technique first. All these things are based on the assessment first. The assessment, as in any medical field, is a key. Thank you so much.
To thank everyone who has helped us these 4 days of intense learning and intense fellowship, I would say. So let me thank first of all the delegates who have stayed here for 4 days and have actually made this conference successful. I would like to thank all the societies which have been a strong support, including Sphere and its members, CBM Trust and Dr. Sajjay Phadke sir and his team, Endocrine Society of India, Maharashtra Endocrine Society, Indian Psychiatry Society, Niman's team, and of course the team Envisage, which has been here all throughout, patiently managing all our troubles, and of course our pharmaceutical industry partners, without whose support it was not possible. So I would like to thank Dan Leon for giving their generous support for our travel, and then we had Otfrit Pharma who took care of the travel and ticketing and flight airline tickets and travel of these faculty. Then Torrent Pharma, Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly and Company, AstraZeneca, Emcure Pharmaceutical, Lupin Pharmaceutical, Sun Pharmaceutical Limited, then USV, Intas, Abbott, and Alcadia and Eris. So multiple partners and stakeholders. I would like to thank the whole hotel team of Amenora and Fern Hotel Group, especially Sri Lekha Madam, the whole banquet team, Chef Negi and his team for the excellent culinary workshop that had been performed. And of course, the logistics being taken care of by whole of the Fern Hotel team. So thank you all, and if I've missed out anyone, I'm thankful to everyone who has been a part of support, the faculty, the delegates, our Professor Gangadhar sir who came all the way to guide us through all these. So Phadke sir, would you like to give your concluding remarks on behalf of CVM?
So my only concluding remark is to thank her that she has done, this thankless job since 2020. So 7 years she has done the thankless job, and it has really brought it to a point today where the national leaders have now taken a cognizance of it. So today the national leaders were there luckily, and they have taken cognizance of this activity. So that says a lot about it. That hard work ultimately pays. It takes time. I think, you have to persist, and very often you have to swim against the tide. Because I know I'm first-hand testimony to the fact that when she started it, she met with all kind of negative emotional responses. There were people who ridiculed her. There were people who thought that maybe she's just trying to do something to get into the glare, something stupid. And perhaps most people in their heart they wished that this all is going to die. Maybe she will do for 1 or 2 years, and then none of this is going to survive. But I think huge credit really goes to her that it not only survived. So sometimes we say that a single person's effort, this is what the positive psychology is. And the so-called, very famously so-called American dream, that you start as an underdog and the underdog succeeds one day. So really big thanks to her.
Thank you.
That is what I wanted to say. That we have a very high appreciation, for what you have done, a very transformative step. Today in the board meeting room, there really was a very important national leadership about it. Of course, those people had to their flights, go back to their destinations. That's why they left. But enough to say that national level cognizance has been taken of the work that she has initiated. And I am sure what she has initiated, will really go very forward and will have an impact, on the national level scene times to come. Absolutely.
So
So
I think
therefore, wholehearted
this is not
appreciation
a.
and thanks to you.
It is not a single man's job, anyways, but I am thankful to Phadke sir and to the whole CBM team because it is not possible without a solid backup to do such an activity without the support of eminent people like Phadke sir, then Phadke madam, and of course the Maharashtra Endocrine Society has always been supportive. Of course, the people from Pune, Dr. Sinkar, Dr. Joshi, even all the delegates who have supported this all throughout the years, and of course my staff who has borne me through all the hardships that I have. I can't thank them less because they have been with me for so many years and they have supported me through all the works, especially Riya, Ankshata, and you saw Utkarsha also was here for past 4 days. So I am thankful to my family members. They have also borne me a lot, my husband and my daughter, and they have sacrificed much of their time. And I am thankful to everyone who has helped me get mind body medicine to this stage. And I think now it's a job for so many of us to take it forward at their own cities, in your own capacity and on the national scale. So thank you all, and all the best wishes to everyone who wants to carry this forward. Thank you so much.
A single man army taken this forward, so we are really very
Thank you so much. Yes,
you are a very courageous and resilient person, for that record.
yes.
Okay, so
Thank
my
you.
wholehearted thanks to you.
Thanks to Mind Body Medicine for making me resilient. That's thanks. Thank you so much. Bye.